All right, here we are, ready to put this on our last video to put our book into the cover, right like that. And all you have to do, and you can see I have already done this, is on these two flaps here, cover it with your, I put my score tape. You can put your double-sided tape, whatever strong adhesive you have. You can use wet glue also. It just takes a little longer to dry, but if you do use a wet glue, make it good and strong. And all you're going to do then is put this right here, line up first this side and tape it down right along the seam line, right there, and then do the same to the other. So only glue one side at a time if you're using wet glue. Make sure you can see your seam lines. See, you can see mine. All right. I might put a little thing right there just so I can line it up good, because I don't want anything to throw me off. All right, do that too. All right, once you get your adhesive on the first side, then take it off and prepare to, oh, also check and make sure which is your front and which is your back side of your book. Do you want the seam on the back side? Okay. There's my seam, so it's going right. It's going right. And I'm going to take off the score tape, or the cover of the score tape, not the whole score tape, of course. Okay. Can you believe after 6 videos we're actually finally finishing this thing? Alright. Now right here, open your book, and I've made a little darker line right here so I know where my hinge thing is, and I'm going to center it right here in the spine of the book. Center my fold and put it down. And burnish. Burnish, 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 burnish. Burnish, 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 burnish. If you've done a good job, the seam should match up on both sides. And I think mine do. See? Right there. Okay. Now we go to the other side and hope and pray that these seams match up. And of course your spine is bendable, so it doesn't matter if it looks like it's too wide, then you just bend it, because that was the whole point of the flexible spine. And this just took like 3 strips of score tape. So if you're using the wet glue, now's the time to put it on the other side. Straighten out if you have to turn it upside down, whatever you have to do, it doesn't matter. And we're going to do exactly the same thing again, only we're going to have to bend the spine a little bit, I see. Come on here, fella. Because it's a little bit testy. Don't want to do either, does it? Okay, now. There. Oops. Hook loose. I have to bend it some more. This is when it gets really important that you match these fellers up. If it doesn't, then wrestle with the spine again. Let's bend it, because that was our whole point. Okay, there we go. Alright, burnish, 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 burnish. And it worked. And see, down in the center, you do have your pages are loose there, as they're supposed to be. Your spine can fold. Your book can lay flat, sort of. It can after it gets used to bending. You can open it flat. And you do have to work with it a little bit. Burnish those sides, make sure you've got them tight. And we have our book. And the only thing we need to do is to decorate the cover a little bit. And I've got my covers. Now if you've used wet glue, you can't do this until tomorrow probably. But basically you just need 4 of your 6x6 sheets, and you know I used the 12x12 sheets, so I had to cut my last sheet in half. This is going to be my cover right here. I've already distressed it. If you're a distresser, go ahead and distress. And that's going to go there. And before I do that, I'm going to put my ribbon binding here. This is going to be my closure, and a wider ribbon probably would have been better, but I happen to have this one and it was the right color, so it's a little bit narrower than I would have chosen ordinarily, but I didn't feel like going out and buying more. And in this particular instance, if you use wet glue, you have to let it dry overnight too before you tie it, but I used just my score tape. Regular adhesive will not work well because it tends to, now I put adhesive on both sides because then now my top will also stick to it to give it. But if you use just like a regular, even your ATG gun, the pressure of pulling it to tie it closed is going to gradually start pulling this adhesed piece out. So I would use the strongest thing you have, and if it's, I wouldn't use hot glue particularly because that tends to be lumpy. But anyway, I'm going to put my cover on so I don't have that to deal with, and with that you can use your regular ATG or good adhesive, whichever you want to use, and cover that front side up. And then we've got our ribbon on, attached firmly. Oops, I got off the mark a little bit. Didn't the cover go on easily? It's all in, excuse me, bending the spine. Fold in my hangovers. It's all in bending the spine to get it the right size. Okay. Alright. Spread your wings and fly. And I'm just going to eyeball this. I hope that I get it good. Looks good to me. Okay, so this is firmly stuck here is the front. And let's see here. I have these things left. What do I want on the inside? Do I want fly, cage? Probably fly. And you're going to do the same thing here. Cover up all this messiness with a nice cover. Good adhesive. And so we'll put our glue on. Do not be skimpy with the glue in this part, because this book is going to be handled, and you want everything to stay on with no loose flaps. If you notice loose things, stick a little liquid glue under it, because once it starts, it just gets worse and worse. Okay. Okay, fly. That's pretty. Okay. And that goes on just like that. Burnish, burnish, burnish. And see, all those little loose things here are now loose no longer. And you can do it, mash it with your palm. Because I've got glitter on my paper. I don't recommend glitter, to tell you the truth. But anyway, it was pretty at the time. Thought it was a good idea, but I don't think I'd get glitter if I were you. Alright. Front cover. Done. Back cover. See, here's our seam. I think I'll just put this. This is sort of the end of the bird cage. Do I want this? Do I want this? This might be better, since there's a bird cage there. Okay, so I shall do that. And that'll leave the back of this book with sort of a chopped off bird cage, but I really don't have anything else. Well, actually, no, we'll just leave it. I mean, you can obsess over these things to the point of ridiculousness. Okay. Okay. Finish what you can. And you'll notice I put tape all over this thing. Not just around the edges, but all over it. Okay. And then the last of it will be this. It does have a little writing on it too. So. Let me see. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Alright. I've been thinking about this all day, and I thought I'd better get to it. Now remember, the back you have to put some ribbon on too. So before I stick this on, I shall set it aside, get my other piece of ribbon, and take off the score tape top. Oops. And I want to match it up with the other one so it's not wonky. Right side out. Oops. slipped out from my hands there. Okay. It's kind of a strange looking back, but I don't know if I like that back. I think I like this better. I'm going to cut this instead because the back just leaves me blah. So, just going to cut this. Quickly. In a 6-inch square. And it's going to go like that. Changed my mind midstream, but I just, that back was just too dull to my way of thinking. Put a quick distress on it. Okay. And one more time, tape this fella up. It probably would have been alright the other way. I don't think the lady would have noticed anything one way or the other as far as the back, but I just didn't like it. It was too yuck. Even though the back of the book is not seen too often. Okay, plenty of tape. And we shall put it just like this. Oh, so much better. So much better. I seem to have a little bit of excess stickiness there. If you ever get tape that's overlaps, like I've got some tape that didn't get covered up, I'll probably end up scraping it off. But if you do get adhesive that overlaps and won't come off, put a little powder, baby powder, on your finger and tap it on there. That just peeled right off. And that will take the stickiness off. Okay. We are through, folks. And here's your little tie. Now, I've decided that I'm going to put something to make the book, make it look like a real book. And so I've cut some strips. These strips are, I think I just used one of my leftover squares, and these are 6 inches. These long ones, 6 inches by 3/4 of an inch. You need 2 of those. 6 inches by 3/4, and you need 3 strips. Where's my other one? Oh, right here. 3 strips, 3 inches by, now wait a minute, 1/2. This is a 1/2 inch. 3 inches by 1/2, and this is 6 inches by 3/4. And first you're going to put the 6 inches by 3/4 right like this along this part of your decorative front. And you can use your adhesive on that. Just makes it look old-fashioned and, you know, like old-fashioned hand-bound type book. Oosh. There we go. Alright, I'm just going to put it right here. And just a matching piece of paper. You can use any paper you want. Let's see. Sort of get close to the hinge. There. You're going to do the same thing on the other side. And again, you can use wet or dry. Doesn't matter. Just make sure it's good sticky stuff. I have made one of these using a wet adhesive, and it works just fine. Okay, there you go. And this sort of matches this motif. It was from the paper pack, so you know it's going to put your adhesive on these. And you probably have to put the top and the bottom ones on first. And if you feel industrious, you can put a brad or something on them. I don't feel that industrious. Put them right at the top here. And fold them around. There. I'll burnish those here in a minute, but I wanted you to be able to see what I was doing. Okay, this is going to go on the bottom. Right here. And you will have to burnish them when you're all done, because they will fold right here and you don't want them to come loose. Okay, and the last one. Eesh, I'm sticking. And put that right. Oof. My ball in it. Should have measured it probably. But that's okay. And you could stick brads there. I'd do it with a hot glue gun, probably. I may do that. I don't know. Or a button, whatever. But we'll burnish them. Make sure they stay. It gives it a more professional look. Just work with it when you're through. Alright. Oops, that one didn't stick. There we go. May have to put a little wet glue under that one because it looks like it's wanting to pop up on me. Okay. Here's our ribbon. The last thing we're going to do, I don't want to cover up my bird, so I may go like that. You can do whatever you want to decorate this. Yeah, this thing is not going to stick right there. Whatever you want, you can do on this. This is a Prima decoration. And we don't need a whole lot. Maybe. What in the world? There we go. Sometimes you don't know what's stuck and what's not stuck with these Primas. Ah, there we go. Okay. Not like that. I think I like that. There. You can play with these because they do come apart. You can cut them up however you want. And I've got one. Maybe I'll just put one butterfly on here. I don't know. I'm going to play with this. I'll show you. I'll take a picture of it when I'm all through. But basically, this is going to have a little sticky goo in it. Basically, folks, we are through. See? Good old Scotch glue. You can always use that when you tie a bow. Tie your bow. You're all waiting for me to tie a bow. Alright, just a minute. I'm no good at tying bows. Okay. There you are. And I'm going to glam it up a little bit more. But this is what you got. A great little book to give as a gift. Or keep yourself. You may fall in love with it. Keep it yourself. But this is it. And when I'm all done, I'll take a picture of it when I'm all through. Okay? Thank you so much for joining me for this video. I really enjoyed doing it. And I'll try to come up with something else. Bye-bye.